Joining me now is Alex Boris. He's a assembly member for the 73rd District of New York. He's running to represent New York's 12th Congressional District, a large chunk of Manhattan, home to more than 700,000 people. It's great to have you here this morning. Good morning.
It's great to be here, Jacob. Thanks for having me.
You got it. So this Emerson poll from May had you and fellow Assembly member Michael Lasher in the lead. There's also 32% in that poll of voters who are undecided. How are you feeling going into Tuesday?
I'm feeling really good. Early voting has been going on for 9 days now in New York City, and I've spent almost every minute the polls have been open out on the street talking to voters. And it's a really tight race. Obviously, lots of good candidates running, but I think the undecideds are swinging towards me. We've put together an incredible coalition of nearly every labor union in the city has endorsed, of every LGBTQ group. The big tent party that we always talk about as Democrats, we're really building the model here in New York 12.
Your opponent, Jack Schlossberg, was on the broadcast earlier this morning, and he had some pointed things, as I've heard him say before, about the financial backing of your campaign. Let's watch.
We are seeing a groundswell of support as well for No PAC Jack. That's what they call me because I don't have a super PAC. This race, people should know, has been flooded with millions and millions of dollars from Republican billionaires through super PACs for Alex Boris and Michael Lasher. And I'm proud to say I don't have one. Our average contribution is $30, and we're a people-powered movement.
Do you want to respond to that?
I think the timeline here is quite clear, which is that 3 Trump mega donors, Ben Horowitz, Mark Andreessen, and Greg Brockman, who in the last filing was Donald Trump's single largest mega donor, over last summer created a super PAC called Leading the Future to ensure there'd be no regulation of AI whatsoever. Within a few weeks of me launching, they named me their #1 enemy in the country and pledged to spend at least $10 million against me. Most of the voters in the district first heard of me from their negative mailers. And they're doing that. They announce it that early and with that amount of money to send a message to every member of Congress that the cost of trying to have a say in how AI regulates our kids or how AI affects our kids' brains or our jobs, our environment, that cost is going to be political destruction. But the miraculous thing has been, in response, basically everyone else has unified in order to support this campaign. Our teachers, our firefighters, our progressive activists, and yes, some people within tech that want there to be more regulation because they see my record as having passed the strongest AI safety law in the country, following it up this year with the strongest bill to protect kids from AI chatbots. That's what voters are seeing, and that's why they're swinging over to me.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, because your opponents have consistently attacked you over your ties to the crypto industry. And Lasher says Chris Larsen, the crypto billionaire, spent, quote, $3.5 million and counting to support you. And Jack Schlossberg posted on X this week calling you, quote, big tech's little buddy. Can you talk more about specific ways that you have maintained or will maintain independence from wealthy donors and tech or crypto interests in your campaign when this has become such a central issue here?
Absolutely. My track record of doing this is clear. When our Attorney General, Tish James, put forward her crypto bill to reform, to restrain the industry and to protect New Yorkers, she asked me to stand with her. You can go on my Assembly website and watch me grilling crypto executives. I think there needs to be far more regulation there, just the same way I think there needs to be far more regulation of AI. Even the groups that have been coming in to support me, I've been opposing them and pushing much more regulation. Everyone in the AI industry, including Anthropic, opposed the RAISE Act. Everyone in the AI industry, including Anthropic, opposed my chatbot bill. My track record here of delivering for people is clear, and it's frankly disappointing to see Democrats magnifying Trump megadonor disinformation about my track record and about what's really going on and how we can protect New Yorkers.
I think that the issue is that, you know, you talk about your bill and you say you wrote the strongest AI safety law in the country, the RAISE Act. But people are, I mean, even the word Palantir, I think, strikes fear into the heart of so many people because of what this industry represents and how it's so disruptive, and certainly even some of the ways that it's been used by this administration to carry out things like deportation agenda. Do you understand why people may not trust, despite the fact that you've passed the RAISE Act and all the rest of it, that you will be independent and not beholden to this industry?
Well, I think it strikes fear in me as well. That's why I left Palantir when they did work on civil immigration, when they allowed the first Trump administration to use it for deportations. And in fact, one of Palantir's co-founders, Joe Lonsdale, is part of the super PAC that's attacking me. So I've been hearing from voters all over that, first they were worried because they saw all the spending claiming I was with the AI industry. But then when they found out that it came from Palantir co-founder Joe Lonsdale, that it came from Andreessen Horowitz, that it came from OpenAI, they realized what was going on. It's one of the wonderful privileges of running in one of the most educated districts in the country is people do their own homework and they seek the facts.
Earlier this month, and I talked about this with Mayor Mamdani last week on the show, White House Border Czar Tom Homan threatened to send, quote, more ICE agents than you have ever seen in New York City. How would you combat this as the congressperson if you are elected in the district?
Well, ICE needs to be abolished, dismantled, and prosecuted. It is funded at the level of the 17th largest military in the world, and it's functioning as Donald Trump's personal paramilitary force. It's an abomination that has no role in a civilized society. We have had an immigration system before ICE existed. It's only 23 years old. We can have a much more just one afterwards without these masked, violent thugs being sent into our streets to grab our peaceful neighbors. I'm proud to be the first candidate in this race to call for abolishing ICE, and I did it before there was a race, before Jerry Nadler even announced that he was retiring. I've been out to Delaney Hall to raise awareness to the hunger strike that is happening there. I've been down to 26 Federal Plaza to sit in the driveway and put my body on the line to stop the vans. I will use all of my power, both legislatively and otherwise, to ensure that New Yorkers are safe.
The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has also been one of the key issues in this race, and it's come up over and over again. And you have managed to draw support, from what I gather, from a number of Jewish political leaders and moderates because of your support for Israel. But you've also received some backing from some left-leaning groups and activists who support conditioning military aid. So describe your position.
My position is the way the U.S. position has been for quite some time, which is a focus on a two-state solution. That has to be our North Star. I believe in the existence of a Jewish, democratic, and safe Israel, and I also believe that Palestinians have a right to self-determination, and ultimately the only way we will have peace is one that is two states. As dim as that possibility looks right now, that has to be our focus. And you're right, I have a broad ideological coalition that don't all agree with each other and don't always agree with me on the same issues, but are united by the fact that there are a few AI billionaires trying to buy this race from New Yorkers, and all of them want to look them in the eye and say, no, actually, we the people decide how this most important technology moves forward.
Same question for you before I let you go that I asked Jack Schlossberg. There's nothing like running for office in New York City. And he sort of says, I've been the only candidate that's been out there on the streets being with real people. But what has it been like for you? What has it been like to be out in the district? Tell us a little bit about your experience.
This is the best part of any campaign, is the last 2 weeks, early voting, when you're out there and everything else fades away and you're just talking to your neighbors about how to improve our community. I mean, that is the platonic ideal of what politics should be. And it's been incredible getting to talk to the people of this fascinating district, this district of Broadway, of Museum Mile, of the Center of Commerce, of the arts, and chatting with New Yorkers about how we can bring their costs down, actually provide the housing that is desperately needed, have universal health care, have funding for child care, lower their utilities, end corruption in government, and yes, actually stand up to the Trump mega donors that are trying to bully us and tell us that we don't get a say. I'm joining all of my neighbors in looking them in the eye and saying, we're the ones who decide.
I will never, ever run for office, but the idea of standing outside a New York City subway stop and shaking hands with people that are coming out, even if they don't want to, is actually really pleasing and an attractive proposition to me. So I may just do it.
Join me the next time you're in New York. Would love to have you out.
All right. Assemblymember Alex Bora is running to represent New York City's 12th Congressional District. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.